The Affordable Care Act is literally life-saving for my family.
If the ACA were repealed tomorrow, I don't know what I would do for health insurance.
If someone has a medical condition, the Affordable Care Act has allowed them to have insurance.
Because not a lot of primary care physicians are going to be seeing patients that don't have health insurance.
Removing the Affordable Care Act or repealing it, as people are trying to do, would have a significant impact on the day-to-day lives of people that I treat.
People will literally die preventable deaths if they do not have health insurance.
The reality is when you have 9 autoimmune diseases, as my kids have, nobody wants to insure you.
The repeal of the ACA would be a betrayal of Ohio. It would be a betrayal to Americans. Your health is your freedom.
A lot of the access to preventive care that people had, they may no longer have access to, and I think that that is going to bode poorly for long-term outcomes.
Having a primary care physician is the single greatest determinant in decreasing the cost of care and increasing good outcomes for patients. And that's what the ACA was able to do.
The repeal of that, without replacing it, is really going to be devastating for people.
If they don't have health insurance through their employer and they don't qualify for Medicaid, they are literally faced with a decision of, can I afford rent, can I afford food, or can I only afford my medication? We're not talking about small amounts, and we're not talking about things that are optional.
I did make choices when I was without insurance. I did make choices between groceries and medications.
If the ACA was rolled back, those folks would not have access to continual care for their chronic condition, so they wouldn't have access to a primary care physician.
So if I had one message to give to Senator Portman, it would essentially be to hold off on repealing the Affordable Care Act without an adequate replacement that would allow me to do my job as a physician.
If the Medicaid expansion goes away, that's going to affect a lot of poverty-stricken women. And not only just them, but all women.
There would have been a number of jobs that would not have been available to me had I not been able to correct my hearing surgically.
Repealing the Affordable Care Act without having anything in its place doesn't seem like a financially sound decision, and I don't think it's what's good for the people.
And while politicians argue with each other and try to score cheap political points, I spend every day wondering how my 22-year-old daughter is going to survive if they take the actions that they say they're going to.
The question is not whether or not the community has to pay the bill. They do. The question is, how do we keep the cost of that bill down? And that's where the ACA is so important.
To steal someone's health care who faces these dreadful health problems is so unbelievably devastating that I don't know how you could ever look a constituent in the eye again.
Our health is our freedom.
This is my kids' lives at stake.
I want to be able to provide the best care that I can.
If the ACA were to be repealed, that would fundamentally hurt all Americans.
People will literally die preventable deaths, and you cannot put a price on that.